kitchen. I'm Jennifer, and today we're making Puerto Rican chicken soup. So let's get right to it of what you're gonna need. You're going to need some onion. That's about one large, like super huge large onion. You're gonna need about 8 or so garlic cloves. You're gonna need regao or culantro. You're gonna need about 4 or 5 of these. You're also gonna need green pepper, just about this much. I have a little bit more, about that much. You're gonna need 4 or 5 potatoes. You're gonna need carrots, about 4 or 5 of them. You'll also need about a tablespoon to a tablespoon and a half of sofrito. If you don't know what sofrito is, it is the base all Puerto Ricans use to their meals. If you don't know how to make it, you can refer back to one of my old videos where I show you how to make sofrito. It's called Sofrito 101. You're gonna need about a 1/4 cup of rice, long grain rice if you have, or medium grain rice, whatever you use. You're gonna use a Lipton soup, a chicken soup packet. You're going to use un sobrecito, a little packet of sazon Goya con culantro y achote. This is what's gonna give it. You're gonna use one of these packets of sabor a jamón. It's ham flavoring. This is about half a tablespoon of chicken bouillon. This is about half a teaspoon or a teaspoon of onion powder, half a teaspoon of garlic powder, and actually I'm sorry, this is onion powder and garlic powder, and that is about a half a teaspoon or so, or a 1/4 of a teaspoon actually, of adobo, and then also a little bit of black pepper. Also gonna need some chicken. Today I found chicken legs in the supermarket, and what I do is I wash it. I actually take the skin off. I do not make soup with the skin, with the chicken with the skin on it. It throws off grease. So I take off all the skin, I wash it, I cut them in pieces. Right now I have it soaking because I have to finish washing it up, but I just wanted to show you. I took off all the skin. What I also normally do is I take corn on the cob, like in the frozen packets, you know how they have them in the freezer section, and I would take one of those little corn on the cobs and split it in half and also add it to my soup, which I thought I had some in the freezer today, but when I got home I didn't have any, and while I was at the supermarket I forgot to get another packet just to have on hand, and you know I got home and I was very angry with myself. Okay, right? So we're putting the water in. So I have filled the pot. I counted, it was about 12 cups of water. So with the Pyrex I've done about 12 cups of water. So I'm gonna put about more. I'm put 14. Let's turn on the stove and put it on high. We're gonna leave it on high. Now we're gonna start adding stuff to this. I'm gonna throw in my culantro automatically, just like that. And I'm gonna start throwing in my onions. Adding all the garlic. Now we're gonna add some of that sofrito, and I'm gonna stir. Remember all the spices I told you? My bouillon, my adobo, my garlic powder, my onion powder, that's all here. I'm gonna start to add some of them. So I got everything out. I added all the spices. So that was the black pepper, the adobo, the onion powder, the garlic powder, and some more the bouillon. And we already added the soup mix. Now we're just gonna stir this. We're gonna start to let it heat up. So I let it heat up, and when you start to see that it has really come up and started to boil, then I'll add my washed chicken. Okay, so it was heating up again. Stop to taste it, and just before you're gonna put your chicken in, I stopped to taste it to make sure it has enough salt, and this would be the time to add any more salt, black pepper, whatever you feel you need to add to it right now. So I needed a little more black pepper and I needed a little salt. I hadn't added the salt. And I did add a little more adobo. I needed a little more adobo. So I washed my chicken again, rinsed it out. Now we're just going to start adding the chicken pieces into this water. And we're gonna just let it, we're gonna put a top on it. And we're gonna let it boil. So I put the lid on it. And I'm going to lower the heat a little bit, but I'm still gonna keep it on. And then we're gonna move on to peeling our potatoes, our carrots, chopping them up and leaving them in water. And we're also gonna wash this little bit of rice, and we'll come back and do the next step. So I peeled the carrots and the potatoes, and now I'm gonna show you. We're gonna cut them about this big. All right, these are our potatoes. I did all my carrots. I could have used some more carrots, but I don't have any more in the house. I'm like so angry at my husband because we were at the supermarket and I was asking him, do I have, I think I need more. He was telling me, no, we have. So, like that is fine. Or what you can do is you could just cut the potato in half, like that, and cut it in fours. Okay, so you'll get that size. I washed the potatoes, I washed the carrots, I peeled them, I cut them up. So they're looking like this. I could use some more carrots, but there's no more in the house. Like I said, I should have also in here corn on the cob. You know how you have those little ones that are like that big? And what I would do is I would chop that in half. I would have it all sitting here in the water while my soup was cooking. So the way that the soup is looking right now, I'm thinking I can now add some of the goya with jamon. So I'm not gonna add the whole packet. I'm going to add maybe a third of it, and I'm gonna wait, or half of the packet. I wanna show you something. So you see how this is looking right now? If you were adding the corn on the cob, this would be the time to add the corn on the cob. It would be about, you would cut them in half. So those little ones that are about that big, you would cut that in half and put them in there. Okay, so I had to add the potatoes and the carrots. We haven't added the rice yet. I'm gonna add some of the achote. So let me see what it looks like. I think that's fine. So I washed the rice. I have one of these little tiny colanders, and I washed that rice. I put it in this. I washed it in the water and I added it. Okay, so we're back. So this is what I'm talking about, how it's in stages that we put stuff in, and if you don't put it in the very beginning, your chicken will start to fall apart. Plus, my husband was in here already. But the more you stir it, the more that chicken will fall apart. So, I'll come back. So, this is our finished product, and it smells absolutely fantastic in the house. As soon as it starts to boil and all those flavors come together and the whole house, that recao and culantro, it just smells so good. I love that smell. It just reminds me of when I was growing up and my grandmother would cook in the house. It is the best. I love it. Please try this recipe. I hope you liked my video. Click like and subscribe, and thank you once again.